Hello, and welcome back to Fierce Integrity, A Course in Living Your Truth, day number 2. Um, this next part, we talked about intention setting last time. This next part is called the past. So we haven't got to the course. There's 21 lessons in the course. We haven't gotten even to lesson number 1 yet because I wanted to clear a few things up, kind of set the stage. So, as you may have noticed, the first part of this book deals mainly with the past. It's a memoir. It's my story. Generally, I'm not a big fan of living in or dwelling on the past, but I found that for the purposes of stepping into my own fierce integrity, journeying into my past has been a valid and important part of my process. While it is true that our capacity to create our desired reality lies entirely in the present moment, the past can help us by providing us with clues about what we need to change in order to create the reality that we want. Human beings are often creatures of habit. In other words, they continually engage in repeating patterns of thought, word, and deed. We must shine light on these habits in order to change them. In this part of the course, I'm going to extend an invitation for you to look into your past. Before you do so, I need to be absolutely clear about something. It is of high value to walk into your past if you do so from your heart center. In other words, endeavor to leave the ego mind out of it. This is actually a lot more difficult than it sounds. As I wrote earlier, I wasn't entirely ready to share this story until recently because I was still hanging on to elements and feelings of being the victim of some of my past circumstances. When you open the door to your past, it can be easy to become overwhelmed with all of the skeletons that you encounter there. This is where intention setting can be of real value to you. Imagine that your past is a dark closet with a door on it. All of the experiences that you have ever had until now lie behind that door. When you journey into the closet, imagine that you are holding a flashlight and shining light on the memories and experiences that lie within that space. Some of those experiences are going to be painful to see again, scary even. Those are the skeletons. And some will be light-filled and glowing of their own accord. Before you enter the closet, you can set your intention to see only the skeletons that you are ready to deal with. Your intention could sound something like, I ask only to see what I'm ready to see, and that I may do so from my heart center. Please fill me with divine light as I make this journey, and help me to see into my past from a place of my highest truth. So, what I want to say, the message about this first part is the closet actually turned out to be a warehouse. Perry and I we have a warehouse. I don't know about you. Maybe you just have a closet. When I really dug into this work, had a warehouse. And Perry, my partner, also would describe his as a warehouse. And when you go into the warehouse and turn on the lights, it can be like super overwhelming and terrifying. And what I would say the gift that I bring or offer is to be a partner with you in that journey. So we don't have to go into the warehouse and deal with all of it at once. That's overwhelming and not sustainable for your nervous system. It'll flood you, etc. But let's go in there together with a flashlight to deal with one thing at a time. So you can do that with a coach, or you can do that through intention setting, like I said in this book. I don't think that necessarily you need a coach. I think a coach is a possible tool and somebody that can walk with you and hold space for you and ask questions and help you keep moving forward on your journey should you get stuck. That's what I think coaching does. That's what it's done for me. Part of what makes this journey into the past so difficult is that we must be accountable for all of our past behaviors. As I have related to you in the details of my story, I needed to get very honest with myself about the choices that I've made in the past. I had to gather up my skeletons and bring them out of the closet and into the light. What's more, once I brought them out into the light, I needed to see them as perfect and acknowledge that those experiences and the emotions that they created were exactly what they needed to be. Keep in mind that this whole process of stepping into your integrity is a journey. In other words, you aren't going to be transformed overnight. If you are truly ready to step into your truth and be completely honest with yourself, know that it is going to require you to do some work. You must be fierce, remember? If your deep sense of knowing is telling you to move forward on this path, then you are ready. Trust this readiness. Now, with this thought in mind, using the past as a place to look for clues instead of a place to find excuses, aka victim consciousness, I would like to invite you to reflect on some of your perceived skeletons. Hint: if you still aren't sure what I mean by your skeletons, think about experiences that have caused you to feel regret, guilt, or shame. And then I go into some questions, which I'll speak to in a moment. But so integrity is a journey. I was just talking about that. So I wrote this before I really understood that to the extent that I do now. I was doing my work. It's not like how old was I when this book was published? 34. It wasn't like at 34, I was like not doing my work. Like I wrote a self-help book. Like I was clearly on the path. But what I would say this work has done to me is pull me higher, deeper. It continues to do its work on me as I evolve, grow, change. I've deepened my understanding of what truth is and what my truth is and how that pertains to the truth of all things and, my role in all of it, from a small self and a big self, whole self kind of perspective. So, it is a journey and I don't claim even to be done. And I'm still here to help support you in this work. So here's the questions to get you started. Since the word integrity often conjures up the notion of telling the truth, which is actually integrity of word, the first set of questions pertains to lying. Have you told some really big lies? Have you told some less big lies? What are they? How about some harmless lies, often called white lies? What would be some examples of those? Is there a pattern to the lies that you tell? In other words, do you lie consistently about the same things to the same people in similar circumstances? So I'm not going to get into the lying thing yet because it's down the road in one of the lessons. There's a whole chapter on, actually I think 3 chapters about lying. So just think about even just that one aspect of integrity, like your speech. The key here is not to go into the story of why you needed to tell the lie or why you now perceive that you told it. Don't make excuses for the lies or even analyze them. Just be willing to be accountable to yourself for telling them. The next set of questions deals with our emotions, specifically emotions that we have deemed negative. Negative emotions can be very helpful as they allow us to see the parts of ourselves that need healing. They help us to identify the thought patterns that are causing us to have the most amount of suffering. This question, have you made choices that you now perceive as mistakes? Have you made decisions that have led you to feel regret? What are you ashamed of? Do you hold contempt, judgment, or resentment towards others? Who? I would add the question, why? Again, the goal here isn't to feel sorry for yourself or to wish things were different. Remember that each and every one of these experiences is a part of you, and it is what led you to be exactly where you stand today, and you are exactly where you need to be. With that being said, if you are anything like me, this whole remembering process can be intimidating. I don't know about you, but I have told a lot of lies in my life. That's true. I was a liar. I have made a tremendous number of mistakes. Probably still true, still making them. I have engaged in behaviors that I'm not proud of. I have taken unnecessarily and foolish risks. Very true. I have treated myself and others poorly. Super true. When I did this exercise for myself, all of my skeletons came piling out of the closet once into the blaring light of day. Having all of my dark thoughts, memories, and experiences come forward at the same time was overwhelming for me. The warehouse, I already told you. It was like watching my past play like a movie in my head. It was an ugly thing to relive, and I ended up feeling terrible. That's an understatement. Deep, dark night of the soul. When I really, really went for it, darkest night of my soul ever. Truth. Like it was, it was not good. I had to reconcile and rumble with my own deservedness, worthiness of even being alive, because that was in there, right? Like I didn't actually believe, this is what I found in there this is after I published this, I didn't actually believe that I deserved to be here. And I had to really heal that, because I am here. So here I am arguing with reality just by existing. So that's been one of the things I've had to really move through, is this existential crisis of dark night of the soul. I'm sharing my own experience of this exercise with you because I know that it doesn't have to be like that. So that says I'm still doing that because I know it doesn't have to be so intense and painful. It isn't necessary to look at it all at once in such a harsh way. As I said earlier, you can use the power of your intent in order to look at smaller, more manageable parts of your past. The key to it all lies in your ability to look at it from your heart center, from the place inside of you where there exists a never-ending well of an unconditional love. And when you unconditionally love someone, it inherently means that you forgive them. So that's the loving kindness meditation part, right? So having a strong connection to self-compassion, self-love, again, I don't even think when I wrote this book, it's funny to me, I couldn't access that. I seriously could not. I remember in 2016, I was doing a shamanic training, a 2-year shamanic training program. And in one of the retreats, I remember this so vividly. I came up against the wall, and it was a wall of, here's the wall of self-compassion where you get to offer this to yourself. And I was like, no, I don't deserve that. I'm not taking that. And so I don't feel like that at all anymore. So in 7 years, I've truly managed to 6 years, come to a place where I do have so much compassion for the 20-year-old Marin, the 30-year-old Marin, the 15-year-old Marin, the Marin that was creating all the skeletons. I really do. So before you allow that train wreck of a movie to play out in your head, I need you to know where we are going with this. We are aiming for shining light on those lies. That is the remembering the past part. And then immediately moving into letting go of the lies, the mistakes, the regrets, and forgiving yourself for making them. You heard me. I said we're going to let them go and forgive yourself. And no, I don't care what the lies were, how many mistakes you made, and how many people you hurt. The truth of the matter is, you are not the lies that you have told. The real you is a perfect being, a divine and loving soul. To tell yourself anything different than this truth is the real lie, but we'll get to that. For now, center yourself in your heart, hold a space of love and compassion for yourself, and let the movie reel play. So one of the reasons I'm doing these talks and walking people through the course and kind of updating people on what this journey has been like for me is a lot of people loved reading my story. This book, I sold, I don't know, hundreds, a couple thousand copies, something like that. I don't even know. Not much more than that. But people read it, and a lot of most people I know read it, and the feedback that I got was, oh my gosh, I loved your story, I couldn't put it down. And not a lot of people said anything about the course, and those that did said, oh my God, that course is a lot. What am I supposed to do with that? You want me to look at it all? You want me to inventory my whole life? Yeah, kinda. It's kind of what I'm up to. And I can't be the only one that, needs to do a complete overhaul. I just can't. Like, there has to be more Marins out there. There has to be. So if you feel like you have a warehouse, you should call me, and we'll go in your warehouse together, and we'll look in there with so much love and so much compassion. And I know I can offer that to you because I can offer that to myself. Like, I really am at a place now where I authentically can do that. So that's my entry about the past. Next time we'll be looking at the present. Thanks for watching.